what are local funds? Mostly local funds are levies. However, there are some other options. So most of the local dollars and funding from the state has specific requirements of how you can use those dollars. So it comes in buckets, and in those buckets have specific requirements of how you can spend those dollars. Some of them are more flexible than others, and levy dollars are one of those. Levy dollars, there's the enrichment M&O levy, which is also referred to as replacement levy. That's what we're talking about, and that's what we're going to be putting on the ballot in February. That's what we failed twice last year. There's also a technology levy. Some districts will do that to help pay for their Chromebooks for their students, help pay for other technology, might help pay for professional development in technology, and could even help cover the costs of some of our technology staff. And then capital levies, that's something that districts are looking into more because it's becoming increasingly hard to pass a bond. And just so you know the difference, bonds are for building, levies are for learning. That's a very simplified way of thinking about it. Bonds you have to pass at 60%. Levies have to be 50% plus 1. So there's a big difference there, and so a lot of districts are finding it hard to get to that 60% threshold, so they're going the route of capital levies for smaller projects, not necessarily for building a new school, but for smaller projects, they're certainly considering that. Some dollars for forest and timber resources, however, recent conversations have put that on hold. Yelm does not receive a lot of timber money, but some of our neighbors do. And so that's something that is under discussion, and we may or may not receive any additional timber dollars, depending upon how that conversation goes and particular legislation. And then levy equalization for districts who pass their levies and are considered property poor, meaning you don't have a lot of big business in your community. You don't have a lot of industrial business in your community that's taking on the bulk of that tax. And so in a community like ours, that's passed on to our residents. Whereas a community like Lacey, close by, does have industrial, does have big box stores, so that cost is shared with those big businesses, and then our residents are having to be relied on less. In Yelm, we don't have that. And so when we go out for a levy, we're asking our residents to shoulder the burden of our levy versus being able to share that burden with industry and big box stores.